evening. I'm honored today because I got the Responsible Business Leader Award for 2010 in the Asia Pacific by Enterprise Asia. But honestly, my bigger honor is right now I have this elitist panel with me for a discussion on a very responsible subject, which is around inclusive and sustainable growth for India. And I would like to introduce my panel. Atul is the co-founder and chairman of the Global Indian International School. Thank you for being here, Atul. General Sharma is the global advisor for Enterprise Asia. Mr. Chandu Bode, we all know you from school days, the former BCCI Selection Committee chairman and the trustee for the Global Indian International School. Rajiv Katyal, the country head for the Global Indian International School. And we're looking at Kaustav Bodankar, the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of the Global Indian International School. Thank you for being here. The highest question today we have in the minds of policymakers, governments, business leaders, everybody is inclusive and sustainable growth for India. What is it that we believe, and you guys believe, is required for that part, for us to go, not for 2 years, we're looking at 10, 20 years. So if you can have a few perspectives on that.
We are here at this excellent forum trying to understand the role that we are providing in shaping the future leaders of tomorrow. And we believe that the education therefore plays a pivotal role in the entire transformation of leadership, which is not just coming out of cities or towns or villages or even tribal areas. I mean, you've got leaders coming out of tribal areas doing activities which are supporting the tribes in that area. So leadership counts at every level. Entrepreneurs count at every level.
What is it that Enterprise Asia thought? And what was the thinking behind the fact that you recognize Global Indian International School as the recipient of the award? And if I'm not mistaken, they've had this award before. So there is a consistent thinking process for Enterprise Asia to recognize a school in this gamut of things. So if you could just say a few words on that, please.
We in Enterprise Asia were looking at responsible awards. And we looked at this institution of Global Indian International School, AGS, and we found in them an institution which is really socially responsible and providing wholesome education to the children and making them responsible citizens of the world, yet retaining those values which are so core to India. And in that we found that policy, and therefore we decided to honor.
Mr. Chandu Bode, looking at you, the one temptation that I cannot let go is to something around sports. What do you think about the role of sports in this overall education process?
Sport in India is gaining a lot of popularity in different kinds of field. Not only cricket but other games also, and that's a good thing for the country also, and particularly for the youngsters, so they can look forward and become a good sports people. What is important thing about this sport is that if you are healthy, then you can concentrate on a lot of other things, particularly on studies also. Nowadays what I am noticing that most of the schools, when they get over, the children go and sit in front of the television.
Yeah. Computers, internet.
That's right. And then
mobile phones.
Yeah, and therefore a lot of diabetic patients are coming from that. Youngsters are developing diabetics, which is a very sad part. And in our country, I'm afraid, is developing very, very fast. Therefore, you got to have a nice health. And if the health is good, then you can do a lot of things. And sport is the thing where they can come up and do very well in their future life.
India has a very interesting challenge in regard to the demographic, the population. As we know that 25% of India's population is below 18 years and 65% is below 35 years of age. And a lot of CEOs tell me, including myself when I go to recruit, that a lot of young people, when they come for interviews, they don't seem to be ready for what is in store for them or expectation, and they're not deliverable per se as much. What do you think changes are required, or if you were to suggest something at the high school level in terms of curriculum, in terms of vocational training, if you will, or maybe on the geographic region, if you can just throw some light on that?
You see, India has what is called the youngest population in the world, and that is supposed to yield India a demographic dividend. However, there are two issues which are to be addressed over here, which is why our youngsters are not industry ready. The first issue is that the gross enrollment ratio, or the percentage of people who should be in a class, is very low. For example, only 11% of Indians are in college compared to how many should be in college. Only 28% of Indians are today in high school compared to how many should be in high school. So the first thing is to build more schools and more colleges so that the more Indians go into schools and colleges and come out better educated and better qualified. The second thing is that while 90% of our jobs are skill-based, 90% of our education is knowledge-based. That's called the 1990 syndrome in Indian education. And what needs to be done is that combining with general education, more vocational training needs to be given in multiple areas like hospitality, travel, insurance, computers, and language skills. So a combination of two things. One is combining vocational education with general education, and number two, setting up more schools and colleges to improve enrollment ratios is the answer to yielding a better and well-educated Indian ready for the industry today.
I hear of CBSE, I hear of IB, and I'm told that some schools in India try to go the IB way, whereas outside people look CBSE as the more popular curriculum. Sometimes it's a little confusing. What is it that you feel could be a long-term answer from a curriculum perspective?
I think to a large extent, I feel education is curriculum agnostic. As Rajiv also pointed out, it's all about imparting life skills to our students. It's all about fueling curiosity amongst our children. So I think it's all about ensuring that our children kind of have that curiosity, they have the quest for knowledge, they actually go and gain life skills as they learn through their classes in the schools. So I think education today is really requires a fundamental change of mindset, where a child becomes the center of a class and not the teacher. So that's something which we need to kind of bring in. And take any curriculum, that's all about the child, whether that child is learning or not, whether he is developing those skills which are required for him to be an entrepreneur in the future. I think that's what's all about.
Which I wanted to add from him was that, since you mentioned that the world is becoming very globalized, and we're teaching our children in some areas in a manner that they get able to become part of the globalized world, and that education is very important to them because it's a very difficult world out there, and they've got to be very, very skilled and very strong, resilient to handle the things that will happen in the world as responsible citizens.
I think we've had a great discussion today, and we're talking about young minds, trying to shape a young mind for the future. This is a discussion that cannot end over 20 minutes. I'm sure a whole lot of deliberation would be done. Well, I must thank each one of you to give such valuable inputs, especially today when we just had this great award. And thank you all for all your inputs and for all the work that you guys are doing, because I think education, and that too for the young people, which is the future, is one of the most critical nation-building exercises that unfortunately not many people talk about. We talk of FDI infrastructure, but this kind of infrastructure, which is education in mind, a lot of policymakers don't talk about. So I think we touched upon a very, very important subject today. And I think with that note, I must say thank you for your time. And once again, have a great evening. Thank you.